Hello everyone. Today I am here to discuss the grafting. So what is grafting? So before we discuss the what is grafting, we have to understand the basic of plant propagation. Propagation is perpetuation or multiplication of a plant. Is known as plant propagation. Or in general, we can say propagation is increase in a number. So if for any plant we are multiplying, we are increasing the number of plants, that is known as plant propagation. So plant propagation, in previous topics we discussed plant propagation is two types: sexual propagation or asexual propagation. In sexual propagation, propagation by seeds. But in propagation of seeds, major problem is genetic variability. Okay, and we can say in sexual propagation is meiosis, cell division occurs. And second one is the asexual propagation, that is also known as vegetative propagation. So in asexual or vegetative propagation, mitosis, cell divisions occurs. So in this we can get the true type plants. That is the main advantage of this technique. So this one is also known as the asexual or vegetative propagation, is also known as the clonal propagation. So in this propagation techniques, we can take a piece or part of a plant, and from that we can multiply the plant. That is known as vegetative propagation. So vegetative propagation is also different types. So in this cutting propagation, so in cutting propagation, we take the branches from the mother plant and we can make the desirable size pieces of that stem. After that, basal part we have to treat with the rooting powder. After that, we insert in the growing media. So after 4 to 6 weeks, it will produce the root systems as well as shoot on the top, and we can get the new plant. That is the cutting propagation. But in this process, before root formation, we separate out the mother plant branches from the mother plant. So we can see the root formation occurs after separation from mother plant. And in case second one is the layering. So in that one, the plant part is attached with the mother plant until root formation occurs. So normally layering we do in those plants, their response is very hard in case of cutting propagation. So these are the two, cutting and layering propagation method. And third one is the specialized vegetative structures, division and separation, like columns, bulbs, tubers, rhizomes, suckers, stolons, all these things. So from that we can also produce a new plant. So in these three techniques, only single plant involved. Now two more techniques remaining. That is the grafting, number 4, and fifth number is budding. So in grafting and budding I asked you what is grafting. So now we are discussing grafting. It's joining of genetically two dissimilar plants. So we can say in this, you are looking on this slide, sign and root stock. So upper part that bears the flowers, fruits, that is known as sign, and lower part that contains the root system. Their function is to anchorage as well as uptake of moisture and nutrients, that is the root stock. So in this one, root stock is different plant species and sign is different plant species. So in grafting technique, we join these genetically two dissimilar plants. So this is known as grafting. So in this picture, you can say grafted mango plant. So lower one is the root stock, and in between you are looking the bud union, that is the graft union, and upper part that bears the branches and foliage, that is the sign. So I hope now you understand what is the grafting with the example of this grafted mango plant. So in grafting, different techniques. So today we are going discuss number 1 is cleft or wedge grafting. So try to understand in this one, first lower one, preparation of root stock. So in this root stock that is growing in the pot, polythene bag. One, cut kar do. Pots, polythene bags, or maybe directly in situ in pits. So when that root stock main stem gets the pencil thickness, or we can say the around 1 to 1.5 centimeter diameter, so we have to make the horizontal cut first. After that, in the exact center, we have to make the vertical cut. So we can say that stem we have to split into equal halves. So this is the root stock. Then after that, you can see the upper one, that is the sign, that is the desirable variety. So almost the same thickness of stem diameter. We have to make the in V shape slanting cut in both sides. So we have to make the tapers. After that, you are looking this arrow. So when we split it into equal halves of root stock, so we have to insert this sign. Then you can see on the second image, so fitted stock and sign. So we can say sign we insert in the root stock and fitted. Then after that we have to tie airtight, so no space in between. So it must be chemical contact. So this is the graft union, and after that wrapped and waxed. So after tying, we have to cover with the wax, tricot wax that contain the some fungicides, pesticides, and also protect from the desiccations, as well as not allow rainwaters on that. So in this, you can see the after 4 to 6 weeks on the sign portion, you will see new growths. So once new growth started, it means your graft union is successful. So this one is the cleft grafting. And second one, the wedge grafting. So in wedge grafting, what we do, just this is the reverse. So what type cut you are making on the sign, that cut you have to make on the root stock, and what cut you are making on the root stock, that cut you can make on the sign. So this is the just reverse of cleft grafting, that is known as wedge grafting. So we can say the at present time, this is very common and very easy grafting technique. So almost this is very popular. Second one is side or veneer grafting. So name indicates side grafting. So you can see here in upper pictures, A, that is the bud stick that contains that we collected from the desirable plant. Then B, so on B, that is the root stock. So on the side, we are making the cut to insert the sign bud on that. Then see, you can see the inserting of sign bud A, bud sticks. After that, in B, that is the well inserted, well fitted bud sticks on root stock, and just up you can see the cut, CUT cut. So before the graft union is different color and above is different color. Then you can see in the E picture, the just about the graft union, the root stock part is removed and we allowed only the desirable sign portion for growth. And also you can see in the bottom pictures, the root stock color is different and sign is different. So name indicates the side grafting. So on root stock, we have to make the nodes on side on the portion of internodal. After that, similar like we are making the nodes, we have to make the similar cut, or we can say the just opposite cut on the sign bud stick, and we can insert in that. And rest process, tightly fitting, tying, wrapping and waxing, all processes are similar like cleft and wedge grafting. So after that, the grafted plant. So I mean once you have done the grafting practice on the root stock. After that, you have to cover it with the transparent plastic bags that have the certain holes on that, because aeration, respiration is also important in this. And the main purpose to cover this grafted plant with the transparent plastic sheets to increase the humidity. So this humid environment is helpful for grafting success. So these are the main objectives. Then splice or whip grafting. So what is in the splice and whip grafting? You can see here preparation of the stock. So I mean the root stock plant we are growing in the bucket, pots, polythene bags, and also you can do in situ in the pits. So when root stock growing is well, and the stem diameter is around 1 to 1.5 centimeter. Then around 5 to 7 centimeters above the soil surface, we have to make the slanting cut. Then we have to take the sign, so we have to prepare the sign. So in preparation of sign is very important thing. The thickness of sign should be exactly similar like root stocks. And when we are making the slanting cut on the root stock, you have to make the just opposite slanting cut on the sign. Then in third image, graft union. So you have to make in close contact of prepared root stock and prepared sign. You have to do proper fitting on that, and then we have to do airtight tying, then wrapped and waxed. So after that, the sign portion will start sprouting after 4 to 6 weeks or more time. It will depend on plant to plant. So these things explained or demonstrated by these images, or if you want, then you can see the next pictures. So in this one is the root stock is lower one, that is the different color, and sign upper, that is different color. So you can see clear cut what type cut we have to make on the root stock and what type cut we have to make on the sign. After that, in next image, we have brought the close contact and fitted airtightly, then tying, waxed and wrapped and waxed. So in this one, the cambium must be in close contact, no air space in between, otherwise no success. So still I am telling you, grafting is very useful technique, because sometimes we want to improve the quality of fruits, we want to increase the production, yield potential, all these things. So we can change the variety. So root stock we can use as a local one, wild one, and above part we can select the desirable genotype and we can do the grafting on that. But in some cases, that graft union is very successful, but sometimes is not. So if not successful, then we will encounter the problem of graft incompatibility. So not compatible to each other. So in that you can see in first picture, root stock is growing well, but the sign portion is very weak. So this looks like a bottleneck, because base of the bottle is wide and neck is very thin. So similar like that structure you can see. So this is a major problem of graft incompatibility. And in second, you can see just opposite of bottleneck. In this, the root stock is weak and sign is growing vigorously. So sign portion is very thick, large canopy. So during the heavy rainfall or storms, chances of breakdown of that graft union. So if we have the graft incompatibility, then how we can overcome that? So this is the solution of, we can use the interstock or intermediate stock, that is also known as the interstem. So in this one, we have to do 2 times grafting techniques. So you can see here lowermost one, that is the root stock that contains the root system, and the functions is the same, to provide the anchorage, keep the plant stable, and also absorb the moisture, and also the uptake of plant nutrients to supply whole plant parts. So after that, I told you sign is not compatible on that. Then we have to select the plant species that is compatible with rootstock as well as sign. So we have to take third part, that is the interstock. So first we have to do grafting on rootstock. After successful grafting of interstock on rootstock, then finally we do the grafting of sign on interstock. So in this process, we have to do 2 times grafting on the plant. So this is the solution of graft incompatibility. Then budding. So budding we will discuss in the next class. So I hope you understood basic concepts of grafting. So in just a recap, in grafting, joining of genetically two dissimilar plants. So sometimes we use the rootstock that should be local or wild one. So main objective of this to according to soil type, the local varieties, local plant species can grow well in local agroclimatic conditions or soil types. So these rootstocks can have the different properties, like maybe disease or insect pest resistance, drought tolerant, and we can say that is grow well. And in terms of the drought, maybe that have the deep root systems, etc. So sometimes the desirable variety can't perform well in that particular agroclimatic conditions or soil types. So for that purpose, we can use the wild or local uh, genotypes or local plant species. And above that, we can do the grafting of desirable genotypes. So these are the purpose of grafting. And in this one, we can control the plant height. So other intercultural operations like fruit harvesting, spray of agrochemicals, thinning, all these things we can do easily. And due to the dwarf grafted plants, we can accommodate the more number of plants. And grafting is also the type of vegetative propagation. So in this one, we can get the desirable plants. So that is the exact, or we can say the clones of mother plants. Or also we can say that will bear the true to type plants that will bear the exact similar fruits, etc. So these are the advantages. Good morning to all. Today I am here to discuss about specialized vegetative structures. So first we go through, you must understand what are the specialized vegetative structures. So before we discuss this, you must understand, because this is a part of plant propagation. So what is plant propagation? Or we can say, just recap. Plant propagation is perpetuation or multiplication of a plant, is known as plant propagation. Or in simple language, you can say increase in numbers of a plant is plant propagation. So we can say how we can increase, how we should multiply these. So many things we already discussed in this. Plant propagation is broadly categorized into groups. In first group, sexual propagation or seed propagation. And second one is the vegetative or asexual propagation. So we can say in sexual propagation, meiosis cell division occurs, or in vegetative propagation or asexual propagation is mitosis cell division occurs. So what happens in sexual propagation? When we multiply the plants, the produced seeds are collected from mother plants. They dried, and after that, in the growing media, that may be sand, soil, compost, vermicompost, perlite, any other growing material we can use and we can sow in that. So after some times, in favorable climatic conditions, we can see the optimum temperature, humidity, moisture, nutrients, etc. In that, all seeds germinate and develop a new plant. So these plants we can grow in the field, pot, polythene bags, etc. So what happens in this? I told you in sexual propagation is meiosis cell division occurs. So in offspring or new plant, when that will come in the reproductive phase and produce the fruits, those fruits are not true to type. We can say it's not similar like mother plants. So that is the genetic variability, and this is a major demerit of sexual propagation. So that's why we need to find out the new propagation techniques that can be produced true to type plants. So to solve that issue, we find out the vegetative propagation techniques. So in this one is the 5 major propagation techniques: cutting propagation, layering propagation, and specialized vegetative structures in this division and separations, budding propagation, and grafting propagation. So out of these 5 types of vegetative propagations or asexual propagations, last 2, budding propagation and grafting propagation, in both is genetically 2 dissimilar plants are involved, because we join the genetically 2 dissimilar plants by the method of budding or grafting techniques. So other than these 3, first 3, cutting, layering, and vegetative, specialized vegetative structures, these are the vegetative propagation methods in that only single plants, single genotype is involved. So in this cutting and layering propagation techniques we already discussed. So today we will discuss only specialized vegetative structures. So in that divisions and separations, we can multiply the plants. So in this one is, first one is the division and separation, offsets or suckers. So first I would like to take an example of banana. Banana is a fruit plant. And you know in banana, it produces the non-viable seeds. So seed propagation of banana is impossible. So only option to multiply banana plants, we have vegetative propagation. So in vegetative propagation, you are looking here on the slide, right side image in center is mature banana plant. So this is not true stem. This is a pseudo stem, false stem. And the true stem, that is the underground, that is known as rhizomes. And this rhizome contains the several active nodes. So when these nodes or buds sprout, will produce the new baby plants. So what is the problem in banana? Actually, banana is a monocarpic plant. Monocarpic means the mono means one. So banana plant bears the, or we can say the banana plants comes in reproductive phase once in lifetime. So flowering and fruiting occurs only one time in banana plant. And after flowering and fruiting, that plant will die. That's why this is monocarpic plant. So if this mother plant is die, then how we multiply this banana plant? So how we can get the new plants? So in this, the underground rhizome, that is the true stem, in that the buds sprout and will emerge the new baby plants. And these new baby plants are known as suckers. So in banana is two types suckers, sword suckers and water suckers. So now you can ask me what type suckers are useful or beneficial for us. Then best, we can say the best propagating material is, or planting material is sword suckers. Why? Because sword suckers bears the flowering and fruiting earlier than sword suckers. So how we can differentiate these? In sword suckers, dark green in color and sword in shape. Water suckers, soft, luxuriant, light green in color, bigger in size. That is the sword water suckers. So water suckers bears the fruiting in 9 to 12 months, and sword suckers bears fruiting in 9 to 12 months, and water suckers in 12 to 15 months. So we can say sword suckers bears earlier, 3 months earlier than water suckers. Second, sword suckers are heavy yielder as compared to water suckers. So we can get more yield if we are using the sword suckers as a planting material. And also the some differences also noticed in biochemical point of view. So banana is only vegetatively propagated by suckers. So we can say the sword suckers are commercial propagation method of banana. And in this, the other plants like heliconia, ginger also produce the suckers. And even the chrysanthemum, that is the commercial cut flower crop, in that is also vegetative, we can say the commercial propagation methods are suckers. Second term you are looking here, offsets or offshoots. So in date palm, commercial propagation method is offsets. So in this one is also after maturity of date palm plant that produce these side suckers, that is known as offsets. So that carefully we have to separate out with the sharp knife. After that we have to treat with the rooting hormone, and we can put in the containers like pots, polythene bags, buckets, or directly in the ground. So these are the commercial propagation method vegetatively. Then divisions and separation. Second one is the iris rhizomes. So iris is also ornamental plant. And also if you heard about the commercial spices crop, ginger. So these plants are commercially propagated by rhizomes, and rhizomes are horizontal stem that grows close to the soil surface. So these rhizomes are the modified stems, and they contain the several nodes, active buds. And when these buds sprout, that will produce the shoots. So from these we can multiply and we can get the new plants from every active buds or nodes. So that's why in rhizomes we have to do divisions of rhizomes and we can produce the new plants. So rhizome is also very important plant part that used for multiplication of a plant or to get new baby plants. Then runners. So you are looking this image, this is a strawberry. And in strawberry, when grow, the stem running on the soil surface. So when the nodes on the stem that touch the soil surface and get the moisture, so from that part it will produce the root system, and on the above aerial part that produce the shoot. So after developing the roots and shoot, that particular part we can separate and we can get the new plants. So in strawberry, runners are the commercial propagation method. And these runners we can use for commercial cultivation of strawberries. So this is a vegetative propagation method. So in this we can get early fruiting. Then stolons. So this one is the very close or similar to runners. This picture you are looking the Cynodon dactylon, that is the Bermuda grass, and that we use for the turf establishment or lawn establishment. So for that you are looking this stem that is crawling on the soil surface, and this on this stem every node touch the soil surface and get the moisture. You are looking the thread like structure. These are the fibrous roots. And on the above part, you are looking the leaves, that is the shoot part. So all nodes, every nodes that contain the root system and shoots. So with the help of the knife, we can separate out. And these individuals are known as the stolons. So with the help of these stolons, we can easily establish the turf or lawns in amenity, or we can say the ornamental horticulture. So stolons are also very important vegetative material for the establishment of turf or lawn. Now division and separation is corms and cornels. So what are these? So I hope you are familiar about the gladiolus. Gladiolus is the bulbous crop and commercially important cut flower crop. So in this above picture, you are looking the corms and downwards the small roundish structure, these are the cormels. We can see the baby corms. So particularly for bulbous crop gladiolus, the corm size plays important role for quality cut flowers. So in general, 5 to 7 centimeter diameter of this corm is ideal size for commercial cultivation of gladiolus. So we can say if the corm size is bigger, that will produce the long spike that contains the more number of florets. So this is a commercial propagating material of corms, and this is planted in mid-October. And these cormels also we can use as a propagating material, but their size is very small, so they are not mature enough to produce the cut flowers. So what we can do, these cormels we can plant in this soil. So these cormels will germinate, sprout, or produce the shoot portion. So leaves will do the photosynthesis, and in photosynthesis process they manufacture the food material that will again stored in the underground part. So in the next year the cormel size will increase, that will convert in the corms. So cormels we can use to multiply the planting material. Now sweet potatoes, that is the tuberous roots, or in tubers, in lily bulbs, and potato tubers. So in sweet potato, these are materials you are looking, these are the modified roots. So these tuberous roots, small size, we can use as a new planting material. However, in sweet potato, we can use the slips as specialized vegetative structures for multiplication of sweet potatoes. In case of the tuberose, is similar like in gladiolus, corms and cormels. In tuberose is tubers and other tubrates. So in this one is the commercial propagation method, and mostly we plant in the month of March and April. Tuberose is also very important commercial cut flower crop. In that, rachis bears the large number of florets, and tuberose is two types, single type and double type. So single type tuberose are highly fragrant as compared to double type, and these tubers are commercial propagation methods. And in down left side, you are looking the potatoes, that is the stable food crop. So these tubers are modified stems, and on these tubers contains the large number of buds. So these tubers we can cut down. So each piece of tuber contains the one active bud, and these pieces we can use as a propagating material for new crop. So this is a propagating material of potato, Solanum tuberosa. And in lily, that is commercially propagated by the bulbs. So these bulbs, after treating with the Bavistine solution and also the gibberellic acids, so we can break the dormancy as well as for the protection from the fungal diseases. These bulbs we can plant in the growing media or soil at following the proper plant to plant and grow to grow spacing.